Hi, good morning all. Yeah, we will see how to call a different apexes from a triggers. So while we can call a normal apex classes and methods from a triggers. So how we can call and how it will be reusable. All we see. Usually what we will do was one of the best practices from trigger says that we'll be having a handler or a helper classes for the trigger. So actually what we does was we have all the business logic into the apex class and methods, and we'll be calling those methods from the triggers. That's what somebody calls like trigger data factory, like what Joel is mentioning, or a helper class, trigger helpers or trigger handlers, what we call those. So that's what we'll see here. So nothing new there, just we'll make the logic into a separate class, and we'll be calling those class and methods from triggers, like how we're calling from an anonymous window. And then batch apex. So batch apex is, we know, right? So for what we did, we are writing a batch class and executing it from a anonymous window. But actually, when actual use cases first, we will not call that, or will not use anonymous windows. Usually, everything will be like automatically triggered or scheduled trigger or something will trigger. We will not use anonymous code much. While development, we use and test the codes in anonymous block, but in prod, very rare. Even 0.1% will be happen in anonymous window. So most of the logic will be called from an either triggers or from a schedule thing. So when you even you have bad jobs, it has to be somewhere called either in a scheduled manner, or if you having any kind of integrations or callouts, we usually use um, a batch apex or a future method where we have option to annotate allow callouts in that if it is a batch class, or for the future method call out equal to true annotation we do. So either these two ways we do our integrations, and all integrations will be mostly handling from a triggers only. So how to call a batch apex or a future method from a trigger, it's mostly similar, but thing was we'll be having a trigger, on top of it we'll be having a helper method, and from the helper methods, from there actually we'll be calling the batch apex or a future methods. Okay, and then schedule apex similar to the batch. So if something happened on schedule time, if you want to happen something, that's what actually schedule apex does, right? So in a schedule time, what we're trying to do in a triggers, that's what we'll see in a schedule apex from a triggers. How we're going to schedule a new job from a trigger, and then sending an email from a trigger. So before we're covering this, we need to cover this sending emails from Apex, how we'll send. So we will start it together, so that we'll be having it here. Okay, and call out, I will give you the schema, how the structure will be while doing a call out, actually how we write a code and how actually we does that. Okay. Now let's get started. So first, already we have two triggers, right? How we can um, move all this business logic into Apex classes, and then using that Apex class into the trigger. Okay. Okay. Now first I will write a Apex class. Account handler, or we will say it as account trigger handler. Okay, I have a handlers, and then what we use is most often we use a all logic into a static method, that is public static void. And what are the logic we have? Just we'll name them. Let's say for this logic, the first block in the before trigger. What I'm trying to do, first part is I was trying to create, not create, I was trying to add error message if it is having a related contact. So how I can name this logic and suggest. So what I'm trying to do was, if I'm having any contacts on my accounts, what I'm trying to delete, I'm trying to add a error message before deletion of an account. Or saying just check for contacts before anyway it's account, so it's a before delete. So here I'm trying to move this all logic. So I have move all logic over here. And what should I do? How to add this method over here. So this is static method. How we can call a static method? Using the class name only we can call static methods. So class name dot method name. Okay. Now if you look at here, here we don't have issue. We are using a trigger new, old, new map, old map and all. Here we don't have any issue, but whereas over here we see that's kind of a, so how in the classes they behave us, they'll not understand directly the S objects, even though they are like account, but in general they are a list of S objects. Why? Because if you are in an account, you will be knowing that it will be a list of account objects. If it is trigger on the contact, it will be a list of contact. So they are like a generic S objects. It's not specific to it. If you're writing code, your code in a trigger, Apex trigger will understand, okay, it's related to the account. But while you are in Apex, it become a S object and it will not understand whether it's account or not. So in those scenarios, what we have to do here was, there are two ways of doing it. we have to convert this list of S objects into a any specific S object is one, and the other option is um, so this means what will happen was we'll be specifying what is the specific S object of this list S object. So we are iterating on the account and we're asking it to read it as a accounts. That's what in before bracket says. So before in brackets we have to give what actually the type of it was. This is one type of giving it. Okay, so that is one. This how we'll move all our code to a handler and we can just call it. I'll add one more method over here. Sorry, I'm having after update. What I'm trying to do, I have two things here. I have two parts of it. One is if phone and fax both are blank, then I would like to add one error message. I would say this one check either phone or fax should not be empty on an account. So I would say wherever I have error, I'm adding a check so that I will be knowing that it's going to add somehow error messages. Check phone and fax. Before update. So if they are blank, then I'm going to give error message. That's what I'm trying to do there. So it's just that's it. So now you have to help me how to fix it. So is this enough or how to call here? This method is a static method, then how to call a static methods? Using a class name dot, then method name, then only it will be allowed. Okay, and here again it's saying some error message. What could be the error message?
Trigger.new, we have to pass a list of
Right.
this object.
We had to convert it into a list of accounts from a list of a subject. Okay, so once it is ready, then again I need to save here. So both are different classes. So now I don't have any error and got save. Now I need to give a save here. Okay, next one, insert what the logic I have. Whenever account rating is hot, I was trying to make active equal to S. And if rating equal to like not and hot, then I'm adding some error messages. Okay, so I would say what would my method name should be? Method name should be check account rating on before insert. Click on writing before insert. Okay, what should be the first step after moving my code? Then after it is saved, and what should be that here? Handler class name data method name. That's how you'll be having a handler class and then usage of the handler class from a trigger. Okay. Okay, let's see whether it's working or not once I moved all the code to my handler. So first thing was when I have a before insert, I need to populate a writing, otherwise it will give me errors. Let's check that. Mm, no. So first one is before insert. I was trying to check. I need to check whether if I am not giving any um, rating, then I need to check. I need to check whether it's giving error or not. Yes, it's giving. I have two errors. One is on a page and one is on a account rating. So both are working fine. What else I have? And then in an update, I need to check if I have a phone and fax or not. Okay, I will give some rating now. Okay, I need to have a website as well. Okay, then now here I'll try to update. What I will try to update without phone and fax. If I do a save, it will ask me give me at least phone or a fax so that I will get saved. Okay, I give phone and save. Yes, it is working fine. Phone and fax as well. And if I try to delete, it will check for if I have a contact or not. So let me, I think I have some automated. I'm trying to create a contact when I have this software inserted when I have contact creation. Okay, after insert I have, okay. So let's say I have some contact over here. Then if I try to delete, I should get an error message saying, so because I have a contact, so should not. Okay, so it's not allowing. That means everything is working fine, even though I moved to a different class. Okay, now this one is done. Calling a batch apex from a triggers. So already we have a batch. So let me try to open on batch class and see if I can able to call that from a here. So here I have on the account only, and what I'm trying to do just I was just counting the accounts on how many are having a phone number. So I want to call this batch from this trigger. So what I will try to do, I'll write a method first so that it will be have a separate piece of code. I would say hmm, call, or you can say invoke batch to count accounts with phone. Okay, then here write how to call a batch database dot execute batch, and here we have to give a instance of a batch. So I have to take the batch class name and it's a batch object equal to a new object. Also here I have initiated a batch. There are two ways of initiating. This is one, another was database dot execute batch. Here it will be the instance name comma batch size. So if you give without size, the default size of the batch is 200. You specify the batch, that will be your size. If you don't specify, size will be a 200 is your batch class size. Either of this we can use. Just I was keeping it for syntax and just save. And I want to call this batch whenever I'm having a after insert. Okay, so insert, I'd like to call this one. Okay, so before insert, I was trying to invoke a batch class. Let us see whether it will work or not allow. I'm going to create a new account. Okay, site. Okay, it got saved. If you check the logs, whether it's called a batch apex or not, you can see here. See here, batch was initiated now. Serialized batch apex, it got called. Okay, so you can call a batch apex from a trigger. Okay, how this is where you're calling a batch. So calling a batch apex from trigger handler. So if in case if I directly want to call the batch directly from a trigger itself, let's see whether it is allowed or not. We're just commenting it out. I was trying to directly write the code over here. So what I'm trying to do, I was doing the same, and I was directly calling a batch from a trigger. Okay, let's create one more account and see where it is allowed or not allowed. Okay, it's done. Now let me check for a log that's calling a batch works or not. Yes, it is getting called. Okay, let's continue. So it's about to end this one Zoom call. So I'll again join and continue for the remaining.